Okay, the entrenching tool, multi-purpose. Obviously, the main purpose is to dig a little shell scrape, not a proper trench. You couldn't dig a proper trench for this unless you really had to. Remember I told you, when the enemy are approaching you, you're approaching them, they fire at each other, you hit the ground. This is the thing that you take out. The modern one is identical, except it's collapsible here. It's identical. And you lay down and you dig a hole so you can stick your head in it. And then you dig that little shell scrape so you can get the rest of your body. Second thing, it's a battle tool. You can whip round the trench and hit them in the face like that with that, and you can sharpen these up, so it makes quite a good fighting implement. Thirdly, you can cook eggs and things on it. And fourthly, I'm afraid, got to be said that I've told you about the latrines and everything. If you're in the middle of a war, you can't say, excuse me, I'm just going to the latrine. If the shells are falling, then and you've got to go, then you put this between your legs, you go to the toilet, you get the result, and throw it over no man's land towards the enemy. And even today, in the British Army, if you want someone to move quickly, you tell them to move like shit off a shovel. It's just an expression. Okay. We'll do that later on. Yes. Here is his knapsack, and here we have something like a blanket, but also, in my mind, the most important bit of kit you'll carry is your personal stuff. In my case, I used to carry a book, a photograph of my kids, and things like that. Deadly important when you're away for months and months on end, and there's brutality all the way around you, people drinking, fighting, all that sort of stuff. It's really good to have a little book and sit in the corner. In fact, I was doing that today on the coach while you were all watching Blackadder. You've got a nice little book, and it takes you away from where you are. So that is vital that you've got that in there. If you turn even further around, your water bottle. It used to be checked. You were checked, you always had to have it full, and you were only allowed to sip from it. We now know that that is the wrong way of doing things. The modern science has taught us that if you're in a desert or something, the best thing is to drink half of it straight away, rather than sip as you go along. Half of it straight away, it gets your metabolism back to where it should be, and so that your starting point for dehydration is less. You will understand. I'm describing that terribly, but anyway, you will understand, I hope. So nowadays you don't sip, you drink half of it, then drink the other half at the end of the day. But this is always checked, and people are put to prison if they haven't filled up their water bottle when they're given the opportunity. Absolutely vitally important people to take care of themselves. These things here are known as puttees. And believe it or not, I wore puttees for the first 5 years of my army service. So they were still in when I was in the army. Putty is an Indian name. A lot of Indian names from serving on the northwest frontier were being used in the First World War and even when I was in the army. But the idea of the puttees is that they keep stones and things out of your boots. And of course it stops the mud going in. I'm not going to tell you how many rivets you have at the bottom of your boots because that would be a nerdy thing to say, but it was the same as the Roman army had. The same amount of studs at the bottom of your boots. Okay. Round of applause for our soldier here, please. By the way, get your hair cut. Right.